T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his actions.
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
King Harris, the 21-year-old son of Atlanta legends T and Tiny Harris, is fighting for his life this evening. There is no way to characterize what transpired inside that Georgia institution as a typical jail fight. It was a well-planned, almost deadly ambush. According to medical records, a lock and socket padlock fastened, inside cotton and flung with force fractured his head. Force. We now know that he was asleep on the ground when the police came, and that several of the bones in his face were broken. Internal reports provide the most unsettling information. Minutes before the attack started, all of the security cameras in that cell block had gone black. There is stillness, no video, and no witnesses.
Being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, you know, he just don't.
We can understand why suspicion was aroused by this incident right away. King wasn't a seasoned prisoner. He was serving a brief sentence after being arrested for driving under the influence and not showing up for court in September 2024, before it became a seemingly intentional act of violence. His case had been minor and nearly ordinary. The timing is what adds to the situation's coolness. Only a few weeks prior, he had given birth to his first son, which his parents enthusiastically celebrated and shared on social media. Days after that happiness, he was laying in a hospital bed, constantly watching. The difference between a young man who is barely breathing and a delighted new father man is incredibly sharp. According to sources inside the institution, King had been talking too much about what he was seeing behind the walls. Despite the fact that we have verified through county records that his confinement started out quietly and without media attention, they characterize him as vocal, accusing guards of importing illegal goods and ignoring internal extortion. According to a source with knowledge of his case, he intended to speak with his attorney about bringing a complaint. The question that now divides investigators is whether that information ended up in the wrong hands. Was this a warning to keep him quiet, or was it directed at someone else?
Been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle. Right. That does come with some, you know, it's some adversity. It's some adversity to come with that. People getting.
And for the Harris family, the timing couldn't be more dire. Due to their own ongoing legal battles, T and Tiny are already dealing with increased attention. Their defamation battle with influencer Sabrina Peterson made headlines earlier this year when Peterson tried to resurrect her 2021 lawsuit accusing them of wrongdoing and damage to their reputation. Her appeal was denied by the court, but not before she brought up prior allegations that the family was involved in coercive and trafficking practices, which they have consistently denied. Online discussions over the couple's history were rekindled by Peterson's posts, in which she pledged to make public what she referred to as receipts. Social media quickly connected the two timeframes after King was attacked, implying that the violence may have been related to those broader disputes. No proof exists of that yet, but the rumors are becoming more widespread. The prison's justification for the missing video, meanwhile, simply served to increase suspicion. Although officials maintain that a power relay problem caused the cameras to malfunction, former correction personnel informed use that it is nearly impossible for all units to have a total blackout at once unless it is actively initiated. It's difficult to overlook the synchronicity. In a facility where every hallway is meant to be monitored, the fault started 6 minutes prior to the attack and ceased 5 minutes after emergency medical personnel arrived. A gap like that seems nearly planned. Serious procedural issues are raised by the failure, which even state investigators privately acknowledge.
It opened up the door to my bedroom, as you shouldn't have to either. Open up the door to my bedroom for everybody to come in, chime in, and make their opinions about what we do and don't do or should or shouldn't do. But I will say this, whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual.
Regarding the weapon, there is no question that this was planned because of the medical report. A lock and sock is not a spontaneous response. It is something that has been planned ahead of time, concealed and swung with deadly accuracy. For some who argue that this was a planned hit, that element has become crucial. Although no convicts have formally come forward, it has been alleged that some of them overheard an argument earlier that day. According to one source, they're too afraid to talk, claiming for less, people disappear. According to the same insider, some guards were transferred to different stations right away following the incident, which they perceive as a subtle internal reorganization. We cannot ignore the explosion of public support for King. Fans have been yelling his name, holding candles, and demanding answers outside the hospital. Tia has only spoken briefly, telling reporters that he is more interested in the truth than in getting even. Small, clearly trembling, paused a request for supporters to continue praying. However, behind those composed remarks, insiders reveal a household roiling with distrust and terror. According to several of their close associates, King's attack might have been revenge for the allegations he told about internal corruption. Some speculate that the assault may have been planned as a warning to his father, who has a history of formidable adversaries in the entertainment and legal sectors.
Good thing they posted of me going viral. I'm not on the media's good side. I don't know why, but it ain't.
We also know that King had been working to restore his reputation in the weeks before his arrest. In an interview with Regina Carter's podcast on August 21, 2024, he stated that he aspired to surpass Michael Jackson in popularity. He spoke redemption, music, and parenthood. Now his voice is nearly eerie. A young man making plans for the future, not realizing that the future was on the verge of disintegrating. Dunley and the police arrested him on an expired warrant less than a month later. Everything changed when he was moved to Pickens County. A major theme in the conspiracy theories that are circulating across Atlanta is the link between King's rapid decline and his increasing self-confidence before he began discussing what he had witnessed. Several individuals involved in the investigation thought that certain cops were protecting him. Others contend that prisoners who supported outside organizations and saw King as leverage were responsible for the attack. His father was under pressure during a contentious legal time. Although none of this has been proven yet, the story gets worse with each unresolved question.
How do you feel with, because now that the evolved T.I. is also the even more of a father T.I., because not only are you just a father, you have to be a father in the industry, because all your kids are in the industry.
Man, damn. Yeah, that's I ain't see that one.
The family's efforts to keep the topic positive have even been brought up. T and Tiny celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary in August by showing films from Thailand and writing about how love can overcome challenges. That public joy quickly gave way to crisis management in a matter of weeks. Their fans are now analyzing each post and caption in search of a deeper message. According to some, Tiny's assertion that love triumphs was more than heartfelt throughout the difficult times. The fact that the family was already under stress was acknowledged in a coded manner. The pattern in this story is very disturbing. The Harrises have endured several charges, escaped legal action, and repelled scandalous stories throughout the years. However, this is not the same. The violence this time is tangible, the proof is apparent, and the officials' reticence seems purposeful. According to what we've been told, state investigators have not yet issued a single report regarding the broken cameras. No one expects immediate results, but they do promise an internal review. The family is allegedly preparing for legal action against the facility and employing private security in the interim.
Crediting and trying to take that I done did and be like, nah, it ain't good. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's like.
The case has become a cultural flashpoint as a result of the online response. Some defend the family by claiming that previous scandals have made them targets. Others maintain that the pattern of secrecy points to the involvement of influential individuals. It is evident how these theories reinforce one another. Every question that remains unsolved is evidence of something greater. A prepared attack may seem like a drastic concept. However, when all official channels are unable to clarify what occurred, rumors fill the void. King is still in serious condition inside the hospital. According to sources, emergency surgery was done by doctors to relieve pressure on his head. Additionally, he is not reacting to commands even though his pulse has steadied. According to one doctor, the wounds were consistent with being struck repeatedly while being confined. If accurate, the person who attacked him was punishing rather than engaging in combat. Additionally, without camera footage, making that nearly impossible to prove. Rumor has it that some employees have been put on administrative leave in the interim. Citing privacy regulations, officials are refusing to divulge their names. However, according to insiders, both supervisors and guards are on the list. The rumors that someone is attempting to control the fallout have only been strengthened by that discreet reorganization. Even seasoned police are referring to the incident as a disgrace to the department behind closed doors.
I thought he looked gorgeous. He was like, so that was kind of like, we exchanged numbers, and we ended up meeting that same day. We went to a $3 cafe, we talked, and we kind of got to know each other a little bit over some wings. And from there, we kind of like just played phone tag for a minute.
Questionably, King Harris has evolved beyond a mere headline. His tale now lies at the nexus of family sorrow, institutional failure, and celebrity power. Every press conference and public statement when officials pledge transparency but provide nothing reveals the tension. Formerly well known for their reality show and glitzy persona, the Harris family is currently dealing with a reality that no one wants to volunteer to record. The questions continue to grow as the pressure increases. Who gave the order for the guards to dismount? Why was that wing the only one where the power relay failed? Furthermore, why was a young man without a violent past assigned to a prison with known gang affiliations? It is not a mere coincidence. Many people think that the chain they make indicates intentional intent.
Royalty accused of drugging and assaulting women. Rapper, actor, and businessman Clifford T.I. Harris, along with his wife, Tamika Tiny Cottle,
According to a longtime family associate, King was outspoken about things he shouldn't have been. He was unaware that some secrets are necessary for people's safety. Online, that statement has been making the rounds, reflecting the worry that he, his parents, or anybody else considering questioning the system would be warned by this attack. The bigger picture is still hidden behind closed doors tonight as fans light candles outside the hospital and investigators quarrel over missing footage. We can observe a pattern emerging, one that implies King Harris was silenced rather than merely attacked. Who wanted him to keep silent and why now, however, is the fundamental question that no one seems ready to address.
I really admire his dedication and commitment to the craft, because, I kind of told him, what was wrong.
It is clear that this is much more than a single brutal night in jail. The events surrounding King Harris seem to be the most recent development in a protracted and intricate tale that has followed the Harris family for many years. Every accusation, trial scandal, and controversy has cast a shadow over them. And now those shadows have roared back to life with a young guy in critical condition and no definitive answers. Legal issues have never been new to T. We recall the initial press coverage. The accusations of using weapons, the reality shows that attempted to restore his reputation, and the innumerable interviews in which he referred to himself as the King of the South. However, the music industry was not the source of the most harmful chapter. It originated in a courtroom. Entrepreneur Sabrina Peterson charged him and Tiny with dreadful misbehavior in 2021, even saying that T.I. once pulled a gun at her following a dispute. Her defamation case turned into a public spectacle, with Harris adamant that all of the allegations were untrue and Peterson detailing a world of compulsion and manipulation. T referred to the judge's decision to dismiss the lawsuit as vindication. However, we must remember that the accusations persisted. Every time the family attempted to move on, they kept coming back, whispering through the industry.
For your kids in your eyes,
What does success look like for my kids and my doing what they love and earning a living, like being able to take care of themselves, doing the things that they love, the things that fulfill their passion. You know what I mean? Allowing them to follow their dreams and just create.
The situation had become poisonous by 2024, although Peterson's request to reopen the case was unsuccessful. She made a vow of retaliation online, claiming to have receipts and that federal agencies already possessed what she described as evidence. The timing now seems uncanny because King Harris was already seated in a county facility a few weeks before to the night when everything went wrong. When that internet feud resurfaced, we must inquire, could someone have chosen to use his son to deliver a message if the judicial system was unable to bring T down? In the world of intense animosities and famous grudges, it's not an outlandish notion. From Atlanta to Los Angeles, the Harrises have resisted charges. They have made enemies on all fronts, from old allies to deceived business insiders, by being accused, cleared, and accused again. Additionally, T.I.'s real-life successor was viciously beaten inside a secured facility just as he was getting ready to release what he called his final album, The King. It is impossible to overlook the symbolism. Was that title intended to serve as a warning? Or was the guy who once crowned himself a king being ridiculed by fate?
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
We've examined the time and it's eerie. Interviews for the album had already started. T talked about letting go of the ego and permanently ending the King era. King Harris was fighting for his life in a matter of days. According to family insiders, what transpired beyond those jail walls wasn't an accident. It was the delivering of a message. According to some, influential people connected to previous scandals wished to remind T that he would not be immune to the consequences of his celebrity. Some muttered that administrators could write the tale any way they pleased, and that workers within the facility were bribed to ensure that the cameras went black. Suspicion has only grown as a result of the prison's silence. The identical response has been given to each request for video, a technical issue. Nobody knows how a contemporary monitoring system that records every second of an inmate's movements works. Failed simultaneously in several units. The warden maintains that the problem was with the power relay, but engineers who have worked on comparable systems argue that a coordinated breakdown like that would need human involvement. That doesn't happen by accident, according to a former correctional officer. That feed was cut by someone. If that is accurate, it indicates that someone with access and motivation inside had the intention of preventing us from witnessing the true events.
You should be rapping about the things in your life that you have in common with other people who may not live like
This type of pattern has been observed in the past in high-profile instances when tailies shift daily. Paperwork is delayed and evidence vanishes. In the first 48 hours, the official reporting King's case changed 3 times. They first claimed it was a brawl amongst prisoners. Then it turned into a fight using illegal items. It is currently categorized as an ongoing investigation. The family's belief of a cover-up sounds more like a survival instinct with each modification than paranoia. Additionally, the Harris family is taking matters into their own hands while the government conceal themselves behind policy declarations. Hands. Tiny has recruited private investigators, according to people close to her, to follow the events of that night minute by minute. Meanwhile, it has been claimed that T has contacted lawyers who focus on corruption issues. They're not merely looking for the assailant. The chain of command that allowed it to occur is what they are searching for. We sense that tension is rising. A defiant father confronted by a system that might have disabled its own cameras for self-defense. We cannot, however, ignore the way that this tragedy permeates T's legacy. Interviewers once heard him say that calling himself a target was placed on his back by the Southern ruler. That line seems prescient now. Being at the top of the industry always has its adversaries, and the Harrises have more than their fair share. The accusations against their family persisted online, combining retaliation and hearsay even after their defamation victory earlier this year. The king may have been attacked for reasons other than punishment. It might have to do with perception. The Harris empire is not untouchable, as everyone is reminded. The most disturbing thing is how rapidly the system appears to be prepared to move on. The facility did not hold a press conference, investigators did not follow up, and there was no indication of when the video may be released again. We can see how this contributes to the perception that something more significant is being concealed. Something that could transcend one night, one prison, or one family. The cover-up goes beyond merely averting controversy if the Harris family's concerns are correct. Protecting identities we haven't even heard is the goal, not yet. Thus, we are left with a spooky picture. Knowing that every question that remains unanswered brings the past closer to the present, Ty waited outside the hospital for word that his son would awaken. This was more than just a young man being attacked. It was a message etched into the history of a family. A reminder that historical debts are not erased by celebrity. We can't get rid of this question, though. If this was, how far will retribution for the past go? The public may not be prepared to hear the truth about that night. We are interested in your opinion. Was King Harris only a victim of a malfunctioning system? Or had he received a message that was specifically directed at his father? This story is far from over, so please share your ideas in the comments section below and keep checking back. In the meantime, look out for one another, maintain your curiosity, and keep in mind that the truth in Hollywood is never long suppressed.